Okay.
Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Mary Cheatham.
Good morning. Good.
Hey.
Hi. So, Laura, we have a really interesting way that we learned about you guys. And it was, I think,
Fletcher.
Fletcher.
Fletcher Johnston, right?
Yes.
It was Christopher and Fletcher. Where were you guys, Laura? Where was that?
We are actually in Key West,
Okay.
In
and
Key West. That's
we
exactly right.
enjoy the sunshine here. We were standing in line outside of one of our favorite restaurants, which is a very small venue called Little Pearl. And they were right behind us, and we were chatting as we were waiting to be seated. Where are you from? Morehead City, Beaufort. The conversation went on from there. So, a beautiful small world in a small venue in a great town with a nice connection back to our local
So
community.
good. So good. So then to close the loop, my friends Christopher and Fletcher, who you met standing in line, sent me a text and with a picture of your business card and
Mhm.
said, I really think this is going to be right up your alley. You've got to connect with Laura and learn more about what she's doing.
And then MC sent me a text and said, we need to get her on Coffee with MC ASAP. So here we are. So
I love
Wonderful.
I
that. I
know.
love that. Okay, before we start, I just want to know what is your order at Little Pearl?
Well, interestingly, they have three seatings, 5, 7, and 9.
Okay.
They change their menu about once a month,
Okay.
and it's a fixed menu with four courses,
Mhm.
three choices in each course. So we're going back because the menu has just changed, and I've been told that I've got to get the clams. The
Oh,
clams are supposed to be out of this world.
Okay. So,
yum.
guys, if anybody is going to Key West anytime soon, we need to make sure Robbie and Karen Bass, our clients, they go to Key West a lot. Okay. This is such good information. You've got to go to Little Pearl, and the menu has just changed.
I love that.
I love this insider information for a community that is very far from here, but might be relevant to someone watching. I just love any chance I can talk about food, Laura. I'm all in.
Oh, yeah.
Great, great. Well, guys, good morning. Thank you for bearing with us on that crazy tangent. We are so happy this morning that we have got Laura Benson. Laura Benson has a foundation, a fund. It is called First Rung Fund, First Rung Partners, but you can find them at firstrungfund.com. And it's really incredible.
Dot org, excuse me.
Thank you,
First
Laura.
dot
Firstrungfund.org.
org.
It's
Thank
official,
you.
Thank
Laura.
you.
Thank you. Okay, guys. First Rung Fund is really incredible what they are doing to help launch small businesses here locally in Carteret County. So we're going to learn more about that this morning from Laura. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Amazing. So, Laura, I would love to know just kind of from the start, what's the story behind how you started First Rung Partners?
In 2007, back when we were living in the Triangle, we established First Rung to offer summer internships to high school students in a full paid work setting in local nonprofits so that young people would learn while they're young the impact of nonprofits on the health and well-being of a community.
Cool.
In 2007, we also purchased our home here in Beaufort, and we knew that the small business economy really drives the health and well-being of any community, but especially a place like Eastern North Carolina. So we took the First Rung brand, if you will, and established a microloan fund. Our goal is to not only bridge my husband's expertise. Walt is a partner at First Rung as well, and he is an entrepreneur and a small business expert leader. My background is in the nonprofit sector and more community-based networking and engagement. So joining our two expertise, if you will, and knowing that in Beaufort, what we heard, and throughout Carteret County, we continue to hear anecdotes that many young people, young in a broad sense, between the ages of about 20 to about 50, were leaving the community. Also, some of the small business education programs, as exampled by the Carteret Community College Small Business Center, their Small Business Academy, they were underutilized. So the educational resources, the coaching, the consultation was available, but for lack of a relatively small amount of capital, small businesses were either closing or they weren't getting launched at all, or people with great ideas and great skill weren't reaching out for the resources. Surprisingly, we found that many larger statewide funders don't invest in startups anymore. It's too risky. We really thought we would affiliate with something like the Rural Center or the North Carolina Small Business Development Fund, where we also have long-term relationships. But no, we found that we needed to step up and create our own mechanism. So First Rung Partners was born. We provide microloans to startup or early stage businesses ranging from $7,500 to $50,000. We offer it below prime. Because we are a private nonprofit, we have access to a better interest rate. We offer over a long term, 5 years, and we don't start repayment until 6 months after the loan is executed. And that gives a business owner time to actually put the capital to work so that they have a chance to get their feet on the ground and see the impact of what the loan can do.
This is
In the course of since 2022, when our first loan was made, we have loaned to 10 businesses, actually 8 businesses, with 2 of them getting second loans, which somebody's eligible for after a successful first year, to the amount of about $170,000 that has been invested into the community. And part of our model is that the loan repayments then help fuel the next set of loans. So it's a regenerative loan fund.
that is really
so
cool.
And that's all happening. I think the cool thing is that's all happening right here in and around Carteret County. I think that's so cool and a
It
great
really
way
is.
to support small businesses and people aspiring to
Which
own one.
is so important. I mean, Laura, we don't really know each other yet, but I will say that's something that is so important to us and to our team. I think having a small business in Carteret County and then understanding that supporting our local small businesses is just so huge and could not be more important I mean, I think it's one of those things people don't understand, don't realize. I mean, I don't either. I'm saying
Sure.
it's so easy to overlook the impact and the fact that these small businesses really are the backbone of our community.
Yep.
So really cool, I think that this is what you're doing. And it feels like, so there are a couple of ways where my brain goes is I want to understand from you, Laura, it feels like obviously if you're someone who has a big idea or wants to start a small business, there's a great opportunity for them to plug in. But what about for somebody who is watching this and wants to help? Is there an opportunity for them to plug in?
Absolutely. We intentionally chose the name First Rung Partners because we do work on a partnership concept. Not only are loan recipients partners with us, if you will, and we're partners financially and often through consultation and education as well for new business owners, but people can participate in a number of ways. Number one, we are a nonprofit, and so all individual contributions were entirely privately funded, are tax deductible to the extent that the IRS allows, and we really rely on individual contributions and donations. We also, though, want people to offer their time and talent. One of the things that we like to do with our loan recipients is to probe what they really need. And because of our experience being on the older end of our careers, we know that some of the things that aren't very sexy are so critical to success. Accounting, bookkeeping, insurance,
Yeah.
IT support, even social media and marketing, as you well know. Everyone thinks now that, well, we can do it ourselves, but we've also learned that outsourcing some of the things that aren't core to your skill and expertise are critical. So that's where other partners come in. We link them by suggestion, not a mandate, to other small businesses in the area, like accountants or bookkeepers, bankers, because my husband's field was insurance. We've also helped just read over insurance quotes or connect people to insurance brokers that can help them think through what their liability needs might be. We also talk about staffing. one of our loan recipients wanted to think through with us, what would it look like to expand staff? When should we try to do that,
Yeah.
both financially, but also to maintain our brand and that personalized, individualized service that we want to hold on to. So that's a range of partners. So people who have experience and who might want to walk side by side with a new business owner or offer their services, perhaps at a discounted rate. And then finally, we look for people to make referrals, to help First Rung gain traction, and to offer ideas, not only of businesses that exist, but also places where we need new businesses or services in the community.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
This is
smart.
awesome. So what I hear you saying is you guys are financial partners. You're also partners through your experience. You're partners by partnering people with other partners.
Connectors. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there it's just a full
Mhm.
circle support for small business owners and people who might not have, owned a business before, who need all of the, unsexy parts of owning a business as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So Laura, I don't know, this might be like doctor patient privilege, but I mean, is there an example story of somebody that you guys have worked with alongside here that you could share with us?
Absolutely. We love to talk about our loan recipients. Some of them are featured on our website, but not all of them. So let me talk about at least two that aren't on the website. One of our loans in January of 2024 was to Kids at Play Family Cafe in Morehead City, a
Love.
state-of-the-art indoor play space. It sounds like maybe you're familiar with it, Meg.
So fun.
Yeah. And they were referred to us through Brandy Bell at the Small Business Center at the college because the owners, Ashley and Jordan, had completely plugged into every resource possible in the community and at the college, and they were struggling. They were facing closure last spring. They were in the end of their first year of business, and they were really struggling to make it through that low season, as we're all familiar with in a more seasonal community. They were completely open with us, showed us their financials, asked us for our feedback. And one of the things we do in our selection process is to determine, is our amount of loan, which is again relatively small from a capital perspective, going to make a difference?
Sure.
We don't mind, making a little bridge, but we don't want to bridge a company for a couple months and then still have them close. So in analyzing their financials, what screamed to us was that they were really paying over market rates for rent.
Hmm.
Their space was beautiful, but again, Walt is the finance guy, and he said he did some market comparisons, and he thought if they could lower their monthly rent by a certain amount, and he gave them a target, that they could then make it with our loan of $25,000. Not only did we help them kind of strategize how they would have that conversation with their landlord because they'd
Sure.
already gone there, they did the negotiation on by themselves, and they beat our target. So
Nice.
they came away with an even lower rate, a longer term lease, and they have soared since then. But that also speaks to their openness, their trust in many partners, and then their continued creativity with their space, with their business model, and they're really doing very well and are just delightful, charming people to work with.
Well, and what a great blueprint for how it's done. I
Hmm.
mean, that's great for anybody who is currently struggling in a small business, right? I mean, we're coming out of a slower period now, right? Or anybody who is considering starting a small business. That's a really good
Yeah,
story.
that's
So,
cool.
so Laura, what I hear you saying is that if someone wants to get involved, either as someone to add value to a current small business owner, someone who wants to contribute and be a part of the financial success, right, from a loan standpoint, or someone who is looking for help with their small business or idea, those are all folks who could plug right in and the best thing to do is to go to your website. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
First Rung Fund.
firstrungfund.org. Yes, and we'll drop
Right.
that in the comments
Yes,
below. This is really cool.
it
Thank you,
really
Laura.
is.
Thank you. And Laura, before we let you go, we absolutely want to know what is saving your life right now.
What is saving our life is the networking, the communication, the partnership and support that First Rung Fund has found. Our partnership with the college, our partnership with our loan recipients, with individuals who do step up with financial contributions or time and talent, that's what's making such a difference. And for example, what we're very excited about is because of our partners, and a young business owner who's in our pipeline for a potential loan, we may have an opportunity to secure a property in Beaufort in a prime retail space so that we could then turn around and lease it at an affordable long-term lease term so that, again, a new business could really thrive. Because that's what we've also learned is space cost is critical. And you certainly know that from your expertise in real estate. And so that's what's driving us right now and really kind of juicing us for the next season is we have some great opportunities and the community is offering us ideas about what they want to see in the community. And so right now we have this idea potentially of an independent bookstore. So stay tuned. It could be
You're
really
exciting. I
exciting.
know, I love that.
And we may be able to secure a space to do that. And so that's what's exciting us now. And we just look forward to hearing from your audience and for making a pathway for a great small business economy and helping people climb their own ladders to success.
That's really cool.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Laura. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing that. And thank you for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it. You guys are doing incredible things. We're grateful that y'all are here.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here.
Thanks, Laura.
Bye, Laura.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, I could
Man,
listen to her talk all day. She's so
know.
eloquent.
I know. I know.
That is really cool. Everything that's
amazing.
happening here. They're
Yep.
clearly making a big impact in the
Yes,
community.
and I love that there are all different ways that we can get involved.
I agree. I
Good
agree.
one.
I didn't realize we were matching the whole time as
Of course
well.
we are.
Of course. Do you have something that's saving your life?
I do. So I haven't even told you this.
Okay.
So I have a little hack for you guys that I have really been enjoying. I know. So I don't know. For me, January and February were just kind of a hot mess. And so now that we're midway through March, what I can say is, I know, I decided at the beginning of March that my word for the month was going to be consistency. And so then I started thinking about what are the things that I want to be consistent about, right? And like, what are the little micro things that I want to do every day? You know, there's that saying that it's like,
The domino?
there's the domino. Yes. Like, what's your first domino and you knock it down and the rest of them fall. But it's also that you don't decide kind of the quality of your life. You decide on your habits and that determines the quality of your life.
I like that.
Right. So what are the habits that I wanted to reinforce? And so y'all, I made a list of a few habits. You know, I love the notes section on my phone.
You do.
I live in the notes section of my phone. Okay. So I made a thing in the notes section of my phone and it's just called March. And so I made a list.
There are.
Wait.
Oh, focus.
Okay. Can you see it? Yeah. Okay. So I made a list of the things that I know that I want to do every day. And there, I don't know, maybe 12 of them. And it's things like get sunshine in my eyeballs,
Love.
work out, meditate, take my supplements, you know, just I added declutter one thing.
Oh, that's a good
I'm
thing.
decluttering one little thing every day. And then when I do it, I check it off. But I've
That feels
copied
so
and
good.
pasted that under every day. So I've got the date and then I have the exact same list. And I don't get them all done every day. But just when I do those things, it feels so good. I have journal,
I
read.
love that.
I mean, just a few little things.
You only have 2 things left today.
I know.
How good is that?
I know. It feels really good, you guys. It does. It does.
I love
and
that.
they are read and journal. Should be fine. Should be fine.
You
That's
can do
exactly.
it.
I got a lot of stuff in this morning. You're exactly right.
Wow.
You're right. You're
Wow.
right. So anyway, okay, that's my little hack.
I
Is just
love
think
it.
of what you want to be consistent about and put it in your phone. Copy and paste it.
You go, girl.
There's nothing better than pushing that little circle, you know, and it fills in the checky box.
Nothing.
The best
Nothing
ever.
better. That leads into mine.
Okay, great.
So in the marketing department, we have Molly and we have Andy, and we have yearly goals that, you know, they're numerical goals. One has to do with email, one has to do with social media, you know. And we, hello, guest. And we were just not feeling terribly inspired with them until we got together and we made two little really cute trackers that we now have on the walls of our office. They're little foam boards from Vistaprint. We made them in Canva. One utilizes hearts, one utilizes a thermometer with encouraging quotes on the side, just to make it fun.
Cute.
And now we're really, it's top of mind because we're seeing it on the wall. When, like, say Molly gets to fill in a heart, we're like, she did it, like accomplished 1 week of the goal. When we get to fill in the thermometer, it's just made it so much more fun. So I think it's the checklisty side of it, and it's also the visibility side of it too.
I think it starts with clarity around what is it that you're trying to accomplish?
Yep.
What is it that you want, right?
Yep.
And then actually tracking it in a way that's visible, that feels good.
Agree. And
Man.
yours is your notes app. Ours is on the wall of our office.
There you go. You got options, people.
Exactly.
You got options. If you guys have a way that you do this that you love, will you drop it in the comments? We'd love to learn.
Please.
Yeah.
Yay.
Happy Friday, guys. Bye.
Bye.